What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are at Solly's in Four Ways with the famous Chris Zaldain. He's a professional bass angler from America. It's an honor to have you here.
Yeah,
thank you for agreeing to be on the channel. I appreciate it,
man.
I just wanted to chat to you a little bit. I've been following you on your Instagram. I see you visited some really cool places in the country.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what has your highlight been from your trip in South Africa?
Yeah. First of all, I was just telling you just a second ago, that 20-hour flight over here. I had no clue what I was getting into. I literally thought South Africa was just a barren desert, a couple trees, a leopard, a lion. And that's what I thought it was. But when I got here and I was hanging out with Leonard Backus and Jock, they brought me here. And we started driving through the country here, and I started seeing all these mountains. I'm like, wow, this looks a lot like home. It really, really does. And, when you say, I'm a professional bass fisher from California or from the United States, I just love fishing. That's all, I just love competing and fishing. Yeah. So the opportunity to come here and do this is like amazing to me. Like, this is absolutely amazing. And by far the highlight of the trip. We did the tiger fishing thing. We did hunting. I caught some tiger fish like that. We did Kruger Park. We pretty much did everything but Cape Town, but there's always that for next year. 100%. And but definitely the highlight of my trip was going to the little Bass Mafia event we had on Loskop Dam, and going out there 2 days before a front came in and bed fishing on live scope. That's kind of what we do in America now. Everyone's doing the live scope thing, but finding 20-foot deep beds, 20 feet. I don't know what that is in meters.
I think it's about 6 meters.
Okay, 6 meters, 20-foot beds, and catching really, really big bass on those beds. And I caught one that was 4.3 kgs, which is a 9.6 on a big 8.5-inch swim bait. And that particular fish was it was in 15 to 20 feet of water, where I'd throw a jig in there, I'd throw a worm in there, and nothing. As soon as I threw that big swim bait in there, because not a lot of people throw swim baits here yet, very first cast, bam, she smoked it, and that was a 9.6. And that is so sick. And that was the first fish I caught here. So when I held it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what South Africa's all about. And and it was absolutely amazing experience. And then the very next day we went back out there, and I found an even bigger one on a bed. I set the hook, broke the rod, I still had it on, I'm trying to reel it in, and she turns away, says nope, and she's gone. And then what was really cool is after I broke that fish off in 20 feet of water on a bed on a rock that was about 3 feet high, that same rod that I broke, we cut the line off of it, and then we grabbed one of these GoPros here, tied it to the line, and we threw the GoPro out there on the same spot. And we were reeling the GoPro through there in 20 feet of water, and I could see her on live scope following that camera all the way back to the boat. And when we reviewed the footage, and you know what that's all about, right? You're just looking through the footage. We saw the bit. I mean, it was a 12-pounder at least. I mean, it was as wide as it was tall. And I hooked that fish 5 minutes before. So South Africa has a lot of big bass, and it reminds me of Texas, like where I'm from. A lot of big bass in Texas, OHIV, Toledo Bend, Lake Fork. South Africa is legit. Like, I mean, for all the people who watch from the Americas, they need to come here and check this out. That's because so cool. It's absolutely amazing. It really is absolutely amazing. And we went to some other lakes too, Rusta Winter and Renosterkop.
Rusta Winter's wild, eh?
Yeah, 3 and 4 pounders. We saw the hippos. We saw all that stuff. Again, I've never seen any of that stuff. I've never been fishing, and there's like danger right there. There's a hippo that could literally kill you right there. Yeah. And we've got little alligators back home in Florida and Texas.
Swamp puppies.
Yeah, swamp puppies. They're little puppies. You can literally pet them, and they run from you every single time. But not here. Cool. Not here. So it's been an amazing experience, man.
That's really, really good to hear. Yeah. My second question was actually going to be, what do you think about Loskop? Because it's myself and my dad's favorite dam. It's so beautiful. The water clarity is insane. But I think you did a really good way of answering that question already.
And to add on to that, Loskop is by far my favorite lake. And matter of fact, that 20-hour drive again, or that 20-hour flight on the way here, we stopped in Dubai, then came down here. I was YouTubing, right? That's what we do as professional bass fishermen. If we want to know about a fishery that we're unfamiliar with, all you got to do is quick Google search and then click on videos, and your videos popped up. And I saw some of the fish you catch on Loskop, and some of the mapping and stuff that you use. So I kind of knew what to kind of expect.
That is so cool.
And then when I got there, I was like, oh yeah, I remember kind of seeing this in a video here and there. But an hour after I broke that big one off, we still had the camera on the reel, and we went to that hump, that big Loskop, I think you call it, big hump. and we dropped that camera down there, and there were so many 6 to 8 pound bass. I've never seen anything like that in the United States.
That is so cool.
Clear Lake in California, where I grew up fishing, is similar, but it's not. There's so many big ones there. You almost have too many bass in that place. I mean, it's got a lot of little ones too, but there's almost too many bass in there.
That is so cool.
And I would love to come back here in like June, July, August, when it's a lot colder and the fish are willing to bite a lot more.
Yeah.
Because when we were there, it was more spawning. They weren't thinking about feeding. All they wanted to do was spawn. So they're a lot trickier to get to bite. But I'd love to come here either in the dead of summer or the dead of winter when you could actually get them to bite.
Please, if you do, or when you do,
let's go fishing.
Please,
we'll go fishing. Yeah,
pop me a message on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
I'll message you.
Nice.
Set it up.
I love it.
A dream come true. Really.
That's awesome. We need to do that.
Awesome. Last question is, what is the biggest difference you've noticed between the US lakes and dams and the South African dams that you fish?
Yeah, so that one's really easy. It's the bait fish source.
Okay.
We have what's called the shad, a shad. That's a little silver thing, and we got the gizzard shad that really swim high in the water column. So if you have a 20-foot bank, they'll swim high, 5 to 10 feet down, and just swim all over. And those bass will chase them up. They'll get up high, and they'll just chase them around. So the live scope thing works really, really well in the United States, but here, not so much, because you guys have the kerper or the tilapia.
Yeah.
Those tilapia, they like being on the bank. They like being shallow. They spawn here year-round. And, you know, when I caught that 9.6, it had a tilapia hanging out of its throat, and I pulled it out. I'm like, dude, that thing's 9 inches long.
Yeah.
And just think about all the 10-plus pounders, 10 to 18-pound fish that just think, you know, that 9-inch kerper is just an easy snack. Easy meal for them.
Cool,
so that's the biggest difference, is the bait fish source. So me knowing that, you kind of had to, okay, let's not fish the middle of the lake. Let's just try to
fish the banks.
Yeah, concentrate around the food source, right? I mean, when we get hungry, we go to the kitchen, and that's their kitchen.
A really good way of thinking
it's just a different way, a different approach here in South Africa. But your bass, they might be bigger than the ones we have back home. Yeah, and I saw them with my own two eyes. I saw them with my own two eyes.
That's so cool, man.
Something special. And myself and Trait, my wife, we would like to make this South Africa trip every single year. And like I said, we will be back in July or August when it's a little cooler.
Cool, man. That's so awesome.
Yeah, man.
I want to just give you a little something to say thank you.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Just to remember Noon's Bass and Bar.
Yeah.
And hopefully give you a reason to link up when you come back.
Absolutely.
There
we go. Nice. How about that? This is what we call merch in the United States. How about that? Get your merch. Noon's Bassin'. How about that?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris.
Absolutely, brother.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Appreciate it,
I
man.
really, really look forward to fishing with you.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Sweet, man.